But I was listening to Gopal in his introduction to Senator Grassman. I just had to think, if you're going to describe the person who formerly was educating students in constitutional law at, say, the University of Chicago, and happens to now be the President of the United States, and you put that on a Twitter account, that kind of comes out ex-con law professor. And so, you don't want to... And I think I want to start a theme here. It's about our values, and I'll do it by a narrative, and that is last December, in the first week or two of December, I had handed to me a memo that was rules on how visitors visited our wounded warriors at Walter Reed Hospital. And you know that the Bethesda Naval Hospital has been consolidated together, the Navy and Army and all together now, I call it Bethesda. And they had written a 4-page memo, stamped September 14th of last year, handed to me early December, and I was on my way to the floor to give a 1-hour special order speech, which I do in order to vent myself, and I could sleep at night then. And I looked at this memo, and I read it a little bit on the way over, and I couldn't believe my eyes. On the 4th page of it, here's how the rules on how you might come to visit our wounded warriors at Walter Reed Hospital. And the rules on the 4th page, it said, no religious artifacts, i.e. Bibles, shall be brought into Walter Reed Hospital to visit our wounded. And I think somebody had to type this. Now, everybody in this room, if you sat down at a word processor and you began to type, and you type N-O space B-I-B, you wouldn't get to the rest of the letters in the Bible, and you'd know, wait a minute, something is really wrong. The words no and Bibles don't go together in America. And so I didn't have time to verify if this was a real legitimate rule or not, but I did have time to scan it and see that no one would write 4 pages if there was going to be a scam. And the stamp looked real, and I found myself speaking on the floor, and partway through that speech I decided, I'm going to pull that out of my pocket, I have them here all the time, things, and I read that into the record. No Bibles at Walter Reed, no religious artifacts in Walter Reed. Think of all of these warriors don't all go home and heal up. Some give their lives, some die there. Can you imagine a priest coming in to give last rites to one of our wounded warriors and having someone at the doors, hold it, no Bibles, no Eucharist, no religious artifacts. You can't profess your faith here. And these soldiers, these warriors, have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, and the First Amendment protects our religious liberty and our religious freedom and freedom of speech, religion and the press, and the right to assemble. And they would write a rule like that. And so I read that rule into the record, and I said what I thought about it in a full-throated way. And that was, I don't know what time of night it was, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And by 10:30 the next morning, Walter Reed had rescinded the rule. But that's not good enough. When they come after our faith, they want to take something from us. They're deconstructing our values because they're deconstructing America. We've got to take something back from them. We've got to push back. It's not good enough to draw the line and say, well, you push me back a half a step, I'll stand here until you push me back another step. We have to step forward a step and take something back from the other side so we understand. So it took from December until January sometime, and we now have a rule at Walter Reed that says, bring your Bibles, bring your religious artifacts, profess your faith here. That's taking a little bit back. But the President took a shot at marriage here a couple of days ago. This is an assault on our families. This is an assault on our values. It is an assault on Christianity itself. And from beginning of time, it's been a man and a woman joined together, hopefully in holy matrimony, for all the purposes that we know. The purposes of faith, we're guided to do this. And those values that marriage is the crucible through which we pour all of our values. And as a son that grew up with 2 great parents, I tried to select the best they had to offer and bring that into our marriage. Marilyn and I will celebrate 40 years next month. And pass the best values that we could discern from our respective families onto our children. That is what this is about. And we had this debate on the floor of the House. I think it was just yesterday, and my days run together. Jim Huelskamp of Kansas brought an amendment that would prohibit the dollars that would be appropriated in the Department of Justice to Eric Holder from being used to contravene the Defense of Marriage Act. Now think what they have done. The President of the United States and the executive branch, and many of us take a similar oath, not always the same, to faithfully protect the Constitution of the United States, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. And in the Constitution, it says the President shall take care that the laws are faithfully executed. Now, he takes that oath, so do many of them, and especially in the executive branch and in justice. And here we have a president who says, I'm not going to let my Attorney General defend the Defense of Marriage Act when it's being litigated. And then we have the Justice Department that's going out and going after the states that have passed Defense of Marriage Acts, using your tax dollars to undermine federal statute. They take an oath of office to uphold the Constitution and take care that the laws are faithfully executed. And it isn't that they've just refused to do that, which is a violation of their oath, but they're doing a 180 on us and using our dollars directly against the statute and the law. That's a place where we've got to take something back to. It happens over and over and over again. We have our families, we have our values, and the Justice Department is working at the direction of the President of the United States. Chuck Grassley didn't mention Fast and Furious. That's a symptom of what this big thing is all about. But we have an executive branch that is out of control, and it needs to be brought into control. And I want to just express this concept and perhaps wrap it up, and it's this, that when you elect a President of the United States, he goes in and makes new appointments. He sets his cabinet members in place, and then he will dismiss all of the appointees, as many layers down through each of those branches of government that he possibly can, and he will put then his people in place that are of like ideology. So we got hundreds, in fact thousands of leftists that were appointed within a few months of the election of Barack Obama and his oath of office. And when they went to work every day, many of them carried his worldview with them to work. Those that didn't get replaced were career employees that weren't going to be fired, and they look around and think, I don't want to be marginalized. I think I'll do today what Barack Obama would do if he were sitting at my desk. And so that's how you see it cascade down through our federal government, and how it captures so much of the entire machinery of the executive branch of government. It's top down, it flows through. As I was sitting before the Supreme Court the other day, and I was in for the Obamacare oral arguments as well as Arizona's immigration law, two things the administration is completely wrong on, in my view. And as I sat there and watched, especially for the Obamacare piece, and I'm thinking, if the Supreme Court finds Obamacare to be unconstitutional, I believe that's the right decision. And I do not think they will sever just the individual mandate out. I think they will have to throw it all out, because it is a scrambled mess. Let's go. But if they do not, if the Supreme Court throws it out, and if that drains our energy away to elect ourselves a president that will make the right appointments to the Supreme Court, and Barack Obama is left in the White House, and if the law is still on the books but thrown out by the Supreme Court, Barack Obama is likely to make 1 or 2 appointments to the Supreme Court. They will be, and I can boldly make this conviction, they will be clones of Justice Sotomayor and Elena Kagan. There you sit. Now think what happens if you add 2 more like that to the Supreme Court. What that means is that they would bring Obamacare back and relitigate it, and we would end up with Obamacare back in our laps again. There is so much at stake. We need a constitutional president that will make those appointments to the Supreme Court, that will bring the executive branch under control, so Chuck Grassley can go on and do other good things that he does every day, and to put our country back on the right track so that faith and freedom are the core of this civilization. That's where we stand. We stand together. I stand with you, and I thank you for all you do. We've got a lot of work to do between now and November. God bless you.